I've been scripting and recording videos for a little over a year, and while I'm not a huge expert on making videos, I thought I could show people how I go about making mine. I did make a video about this back in 2022, but the way I make content has changed a lot. Many things are different now, like my equipment, my script structure, my recording environment, and things like that. So let's take a look at how I make my videos. Before I get started with recording and editing, there's other things that need to get done first. Whenever I start to make a video, I always make a script. There are a few videos of mine where I just kinda made stuff up on the spot, but everything has a script now. If you compare my more recent scripts with the older ones, you'll see there are some changes. In the past, I had this system where different colors meant different things. Blue meant I needed gameplay with my voiceovers, pink meant I needed to add a video clip, things like that. I've pretty much stopped doing that entirely. After a while, I started to realize that all the highlighting was somewhat unnecessary, so I just stopped using it. Sometimes I'll highlight something so I remember to add a clip whenever I'm editing, but that's about it. You'll also see there's a lot less jokes in the scripts now. I don't think there's anything wrong with throwing in some comedy in a video. I always welcome things like that. However, for me, sometimes making a joke got in the way of script writing. Sometimes I'd be stuck on what joke to make or how to deliver it, so I ultimately decided just to not worry about adding jokes unless I can think of one. Like I said, making jokes is completely fine. I have nothing against it. I just decided to focus on other aspects of writing a script. If we continue, making the script for videos is my favorite part of the process. I just really enjoy writing about things. I would do it all day if I could. There definitely are days where I struggle to think of things to write though. Sometimes it's hard to think of what to say and how to say it, so what I usually do is just do something else. Not even joking. I'll go for a walk or play a game, things like that. It helps my brain just relax for a bit to help me think of better things to write. I think what also helps is that I don't have to worry about meeting any deadlines. I make these videos for fun. It's basically just a hobby, so not having any pressure to finish anything by a certain time helps out a lot. Moving on, scripting a video really doesn't take all that long. There's been multiple times where I script an entire video in less than a day. So after I finish a script, I collect what I like to call assets. Assets are things like gameplay, music, video clips, the list goes on. I try to make sure I know what kind of assets I'll need before I start to edit. So let's say I'm making a review about Rise of the Tomb Raider. I make sure to get all the gameplay footage, cutscenes, and other things I'll need to make that video. On top of that, I try to collect footage of specific things I want to talk about. If I comment on how good the puzzles are, I'll make sure I get some clips of me solving a puzzle. Things like that may not seem super important, but they help make the final product look a little bit better. So once I collect all my assets, it's time to start recording and editing. In the past, I used my phone to record and edit all of my videos. While that did the job at the time, I've upgraded all of my equipment since then. I do all of my editing and recording on my computer now, and while I am on PC, I still use InShot to edit my videos. InShot is only available on mobile devices, but you can get it to work on a computer. All I did was set up BlueStacks on my laptop. If you don't know what BlueStacks is, all it does is emulate an Android phone. And since InShot doesn't have a PC version, I just emulate it through BlueStacks. I do have access to other editing software, but InShot is more than enough to make my videos. I still do collect most of my assets through my phone though. I just use my phone to screen record whatever I need and then transfer those videos or images to my computer. It doesn't even take that long either. It takes like 5 minutes at the most. I know most of this sounds unnecessary, and it sort of is, but these are just the methods to my madness. Along with upgrading to my computer to edit, I've also upgraded microphones. In the past, I used the mic from the wired Apple earbuds, and those worked fine, but it would be almost impossible to use them on a computer. So what I ended up doing was buying an actual microphone. What I use now is all the equipment from the 3rd gen Focusrite Solo Studio. It did cost me about $180, but honestly, it was well worth the price. The audio quality on the microphone is really good, and the audio interface isn't that hard to figure out. If any one of you are thinking about making YouTube videos, I would highly recommend the Scarlett Solo Studio. It's not super fancy or expensive, so it would work well for anyone. So, once the script is finished, I've collected all my assets and my microphone is set up, it's time to record. I'm gonna be honest here. Recording is my least favorite part about making a video. It just takes a while and gets boring after a little bit. There's other issues that happen too. Sometimes my mic will peak, I'll mess up my sentence, or there will be a loud background noise. Things like that are just the worst. It makes a slow process even slower. It does help if I take breaks every once in a while to rest and recover my voice. Speaking of my voice, I would highly recommend doing any kind of vocal warm-up before you do any kind of voice work. I don't really practice what I preach though. I haven't done a voice warm-up in a little bit, but I really do think they help. Not only do they release tension, but they're also kind of relaxing. So like I said, I would highly recommend doing some vocal warm-ups. So, some of you might be wondering, how long does it take you to make a video? The answer to that question really depends on what kind of video I'm making. My top 10 videos are usually 10 to 12 minutes long, so I'd say they take about 2 days overall. If it's a tier list video, those usually take a few hours, because those videos don't require a script or much editing, so those can be recorded and edited pretty quickly. For my more regular review videos, the amount of time it takes depends. Sometimes I have a lot or not that much to talk about when I do a review. My reviews of Life is Strange and Stick of Truth aren't super long because at the time I felt like I talked about everything I wanted to. However, some other reviews like Kill la Kill If and Resident Evil 3 were much longer because there was more I wanted to discuss about them. It really just depends on how much I can think of and want to talk about. So for the shorter reviews, it takes me about the same amount of time as the top 10 videos, about 2 days, and for the longer reviews it takes me about 3 or 4 days. Giving an accurate estimate for making videos is pretty tricky. A lot of things vary. Continuing on, some people might be wondering how I make my thumbnails. This process gets a little complicated, but it's not too difficult. Similar to editing a video, I need to collect assets, background images, characters, items, things like that. Then I open InShot on my phone, then kinda piece it all together. Looking at some of my older thumbnails, you'll definitely see a pattern. Pink background with the main character or however many characters just kinda stuck on there. Those are fine, they get the job done and I like them, but I try to make better looking and more unique thumbnails now. I also tend to make multiple versions of a thumbnail. Sometimes I like to just play around with the styles and sizes. It helps me get a feel of which thumbnails are better. I think it helps to make different kinds of thumbnails because you may stumble on something you really like. So, once the video is edited and the thumbnail is made, it's time to upload. This part doesn't take any fancy steps to it. Just add whatever links and video elements I need and then it's ready to be published. I'm not a super genius when it comes to what times to upload a video, but I do have times that I like to upload. I try to upload sometime during the morning between 8 and 11 AM. This way the video has all day to reach as many people as possible. On weekends though, I'm fine with uploading during the afternoon. A lot more people are active during the weekend, so I don't mind uploading pretty much whenever. Of course, make sure to take everything I said with a huge grain of salt. I'm not an expert on the prime times to upload. I'm kinda just going off pure guesses. Everything I just said could just be me gaslighting myself, I don't know. But I'm gonna keep thinking that. So once the video is finished and everything is uploaded, I usually take a couple days to think of what video I'll make next. I have plenty of ideas for content, but I just like to think of how well I could script it and how well I can edit things together. I try not to worry about how popular the topic is or how well the video will do. Like I mentioned earlier, all of this is just a hobby. It's fun being able to talk about what I want when I want to without having to worry about views or money. In the future, I'd love to get more people on the channel and work on projects people enjoy, but for now I'm perfectly okay with the small community I have now. Seriously though, shout out to all my viewers, you guys are awesome. I couldn't really think of a good way to end this video, but hopefully you guys learned something from this. My methods of editing videos are definitely a mess and probably make no sense, but this is the groove I've gotten myself into. There definitely are better ways of making videos, but I find this way to be plenty effective for me, and if any of you guys decide to start making content, I hope my tips and advice helped you out. Anyways, I think I've been talking for long enough, but hopefully this video helped, and if it did, I'm glad. So, hopefully you guys liked the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you did it. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all later.